Hi guys, so I'm gonna show you some actual things on how I optimize Mac OS specifically to show some stuff I didn't want to show. So basically, just to make it feel kind of better, fresh to me. So basically, let me show you. So so this is my desktop. So basically, I'm just don't worry about OBS right now. I'm gonna lower it down. But basically, you, I'm just waiting for some of your repairs. So basically, the first thing I did was I made Firefox my default browser because that's the browser I actually have mainly an account with, that I have it synced to my iPad, my phone, and my actual PC, and I have it synced here, so all my um URLs are saved. So basically, when I use the FaceTime, I have a camera set up here where you can see it right here. I have this camera is mainly for like FaceCam and also recording video. I have one over there for behind me, which you can see, for basically opening stuff, and also this is basically mainly a workstation for stuff. I have terminal here for setting up stuff, and for like typing in certain commands that I actually needed to set up. I also have another one for recording desktop audio, but that's basically hidden, so it doesn't show up. I have this drawing tablet for that, but this is just stuff, or hardware stuff I made better for myself. I'm gonna go to the software stuff. For example, I have OBS for recording. I'm waiting for um I'm waiting for Logic to like go on sale for 12.2, but the other software I have that mainly is here is this one, which is Commander Pride. Did this for my control surfaces, and also the Stream Deck sometimes. This also made this is better than the music app in my personal opinion for my personal music. This is for the Stream Deck for stuff. I also have a little gaming machine Steam Link on here, so when I want to play games, I can basically just connect to it with the controller that I have hooked up to here for my PC gaming. Usually, I usually have a computer running in the back room. I'm gonna build one of those soon. This one is just for the coding aspect of stuff, for like making certain applications, and this I have for drawing. But that's not the reason I showed it to you. So the stuff I actually do. So you go to system preferences. So what I did was, display has separate spaces. You actually can have this enabled if you want to. If you want your main desktop and your other thing to be enabled, for by default it's not enabled. I'm going to enable that. For mission control, I have it for F3. So when I press F3 on my Stream Deck or press a button on my control surface right here, it would basically launch mission control just for other apps, or I can press Alt tab, options tab, which will bring up all the open apps. You can have it automatically rearrange spaces based on use. So just to let you know, if you need, for example, tabs open, because if you just full screen, for example, applications like a browser or full screen, any other app, it will make its own tab. So you can launch mission control by pressing a button or pressing F3 in my case, and it basically brings up mission control in all of the available desktop applications. For the screensaver, I set it to this one because I tried third party screensaver, and it didn't work out. For hot corners, I usually have those disabled because of it was more of a pain. Because when it was here, it would bring up the hot corner, and it would just bring up a node app. Here would bring down mission control if I had it up there. So I just disabled that, and I turned on screensaver. So to turn on after 10 minutes, because I usually take 10-minute breaks from the computer, so I actually get up for 10 minutes and then I walk away. I walk away, and my computer basically goes to screensaver, and when it was set to 1 minute, it was going off at the worst times. And so I also have my own desktop wallpaper that I put on here for the sleep schedule. I have it for never turn off the display, because if I need to turn off the display, I just hit the actual my actual PDU, it turns off the actual display. And if I need to do like a render job that basically will take a couple hours, I have it set. I have another software on here that allows me to shut down the computer when actually done. And I also would then just flick off the actual switch, or just flick off switch after I hear the computer shut down or the white light go off, and then I turn that off. And I have startup automatically here when power failure. So if for example the power just goes off randomly, it'll basically turn off here. The computer will turn off, and then it'll turn back on after I turn back on the actual switch. So like turn off switch and turn back on, it'll basically act like it's being unplugged and plugged back in. And you can do that you can just use that to basically, if you don't mind having Mac OS rebuilding itself every time it turns off, you can just flick off switch and turn back on, and the computer will boot itself, but that's pretty bad for the hardware. You can have it wake from network access, or which is a wake on LAN. Can prevent your computer. You can prevent your Mac from automatic sleeping. You can prevent your Mac from automatically sleeping when the display is off. That's just if you turn off the display, it goes to sleep automatically. Under those settings, for printer, I haven't really figured that one out yet, because my printer doesn't have any ARM drivers, so basically it just doesn't work. And the Rosetta layer doesn't work with actually the specific driver, because the printer from 2012. This is the last OS that officially works with is High Sierra, which is an older Mac OS. It doesn't even support Mojave, which is older too now. So for Time Machine, I have that back up to my NAS, which is to a special user I created with my NAS, so I could have it back up Time Machine. I have over here on my Stream Deck a button for my network attached storage that allows me to open my network attached storage on the computer. It allows me to say, okay, I open up the network attached storage, and basically it just works. So what else do I have on here that I've done? Under desktop and menu bar, I go here, and I went right here. That's saying for when now playing. I turned it off. It doesn't show in the menu bar because it shows what's playing at the time. There's fast user switching. You could have that in the menu bar if you wanted to basically allow you to switch between users on OS X. Let's see. The sound center bar is up there. I have that up there. I have display up there. Screen mirroring is up there. I don't have focus up here, or I also don't have airdrop there because of those things I don't use that much. I don't use airdrop that much because of I have a network attached storage and I can just transfer it to my NAS and then transfer it here. I have Bluetooth up here, Wi-Fi up here, and for dock and menu, I have this set to show recent apps in dock. So basically, show recent apps in dock. I have that disabled. I have automatically hide and show dock disabled. Show indicators, I have that disabled because that's kind of annoying because it shows when the apps are open. I have for example, what's that thing called? I have what is it called? I have the screen position to left, but this is so basically. So the reason I don't have it at the bottom because when I had it at the bottom, I had a display at the bottom under the monitor, and so when I basically put the actual when I dragged anything to the bottom screen, it would just move to the bottom. The dock would move to the bottom, which was kind of annoying. And so I tried putting a monitor onto the left. So I put the dock onto the left so I don't have that happen. And so when I tried putting a monitor on the left, which I just found out, which is the monitor behind me, I had that one on the left. And when I did, and I had this on the left, it was on the left side of that monitor. And so I put the monitor onto the right, even as I'm going this way to go on to the other monitor. And so when I want to have a sidecar monitor open right here, I can have one right here and have it go actually down and just have this as my main actual monitor as of stuff. So the monitor has the most pixels and stuff like that. And so that's what I do for there. For accessibility, if you have pretty poor eyesight or you have an actual ginormous 4K panel, you can have zoom enabled. So use the keyboard shortcut to like zoom. You can basically change those shortcuts to actually zoom if you want to. You actually can toggle zoom, which is that one. And then you can use the scroll gesture to modify keys to zoom. So, and you can basically press here to control options, and then zoom style full screen. It allows you to zoom into the screen for the display stuff. Because I usually have that activated if I was using a 4K panel, especially up there, where the panel is that the camera's under. For display stuff, like that's the only stuff I actually would have enabled. Voice control, if you don't mind using Siri and also the microphone onto the Mac, or you're using a interfaces mic, Siri, you can enable Siri if you want to. But that's just that. For what's it called? For general, I have it set to different colors, and I also have it set to dark mode. Just because of it allows the applications themselves to be dark. The taskbar isn't dark because I have an actual bright picture up there, and I can probably fix that just by selecting a certain thing. And so I have Firefox as my default browser, and that's And so there's that. And for the mouse, this is one of the important. So for like displays, I go to displays first. So display, so I have displays set first. I have the displays. This display set to basically the highest refresh rate. And with the drawing tab specifically, this one is the canvas 13. When you click on display settings, it basically it says default display is like 980 by 540. So you have to basically do actually scale in order to get full actual full actually scaling. And then for this one, it basically is automatically at 1440p. If you put on high dynamic range, it looks good on screen, but in camera it's pretty horrible. And it's already scaled to the default resolution, which is 1440p. And then you can rotate them if you want. So if you have 4 of these displays, for example, you can have one here, and 2 of them upside down. So basically the bezels, so it's bezel-less in the middle. That's for display stuff I do. For trackpad, if I was using a trackpad, which I'm not using a trackpad right now because I really rarely use one if I have to. For keyboard, you can basically press key repeat all. You can basically do key repeat slow. Shortcuts, input sources are different inputs. For the mouse, this is one I actually this is something I really changed in here. So you can change double clicking speed to basically fast, so, or you can do it slow. I have mine fast. The primary mouse button is left, and then I have scrolling speed is where you scroll up and down. I have that set to standard, but the one thing I did change is the one thing I did change was the actual tracking speed, because with track speed was originally like right here, and it's pretty slow. If you go on slow, that's deadly, so I don't actually like that. I didn't even like it here, which is still fast, but so I actually have tracking speed up super high because I actually like high DPI, and I didn't want to use a different mouse because this mouse is fast itself. Is basically fast on Windows, but on Mac OS was deadly slow. And I also turned scrolling direction, because if from direction natural, when that's clicked, when you scroll up, it goes down, and when you scroll down, it goes up. I didn't like that. I like when I scroll up. I'm talking about when I scroll up, it goes down, and when it goes down, and when I scroll down, it goes up. I like when I scroll up, it goes up, and when I scroll down, it goes down, because I'm used to like that. But it's easy to get used to like that. The scrolling direction natural. And for startup disk, if you want to boot into a third-party OS, because right now the only third-party OS is Arc, which is still on beta, and the Bluetooth doesn't work. A lot of stuff doesn't work. The 3D acceleration doesn't work, so there's that. So that's pretty much pointless right now. The sharing, you can share your screen, or you can share folders onto another computer, or onto another Mac if you have another Mac. The network is basically here. Didn't change anything there. Okay, and let's see, what else was there? Oh yeah, so for sounds, I changed a lot on sounds, but I've got to show you something else first. So basically, you go to your other surfaces and go to here, which is audio MIDI setup. Depending on what you have, you can literally set up MIDI. I mean, so what you need. So, for another software I actually got before I show you that one is so Airport Utility is I would use if I was using that. But basically, this is something I use, which is called Ground Control Cube. And this is a software that you can use to actually create a virtual interface. So you basically select the 2-channel and you select your audio interface. And then you have something like this on here. So for here I have this. So if I didn't have my Scarlett Solo selected, it would not input out of my headphones. So it would just basically, when this plays, this is for OBS specifically. So when this does play, you actually would hear it in OBS, but you won't hear it in your microphone. I mean in your headphone or speakers. And so you just have to go here, create new output device, and then it will bring up this page. And then you just select the stuff, select ground control, and then Scarlett Solo. Select the master device, being the Scarlett Solo, and then you're pretty much done with that. Set the sample rate to 448 kilohertz, which is standard for Scarlett. So whatever the highest your actual Scarlett can, your interface can do, if it can do 96 kilohertz or higher, then set it to its highest. Make sure you set OBS to that same exact setting. And so, because I basically base this off of OBS, because of my interface can do maximum 96 kilohertz, and so OBS was set to 448, so I just set it to 448 kilohertz, and yeah, and then I basically set that as the main output. And then for other stuff like interface is Scarlett Solo. And then here's the capture card I'm using, which is over there. And then my two what's the things called? Webcams, and then the Mac Mini speaker, which isn't really there. Here's the display stuff. So it's two channel. So since I showed you that, so let me show you what I did in here. So if you're seeing an OBS right here, that you're seeing my thing right there. So basically, when I go to sound, and then I click on where it says sound effects, I'm using Breeze, which you'll be able to hear. So when you click it, you heard it inside of OBS because thanks to ground control cube and me setting the multi-output, you can hear where I can hear. So OBS hears it, and then I can also hear it through actually my actual headphones, because of the sound is going through the output, which is set as your main output, which is the standard OBS aggravated device. So normally, if you when you set up ground control 2-channel audio here, and then when you press that, that's the only thing that plays, and you can't hear anything else, even though you have your audio interface selected, because ground control is pretty weird, and it worked first and then it didn't work afterwards. So I had to, because it said to select this one only, and then you can hear it through like your device, but it wouldn't go through actually the device. So I had to actually create an aggregate link an aggregate device with this and my audio interfaces in there, and so it goes through the both devices. So one would go through OBS, because this is the actual device that's in OBS, which is a ground control 2 channel. That's in OBS. Not my audio interface. The only thing audio interface wise that's in OBS is my microphone. And so this, which is connected to like there, so I can hear both. So I can hear what's being actually played over the actual desktop, while basically OBS can actually hear it. And then for the inputs is basically where my actual things are at. So these are the ground control stuff too, but that's just for the microphone input. The Roland VC UVC1 is my capture card. I honestly like it a little bit better than Elgato, for the fact that, well, I haven't had any issues with. I usually normally have an issue with like Elgato, where basically in like Windows it would just randomly connect, and also Elgato is basically a gaming capture card, and so the only thing about this capture card is that it literally doesn't work with the basic. It doesn't have a output capture. It has only input only. So in order to split the signal, you have to go through a splitter to a TV, and that's easy to like do a workaround if you have like a splitter. So there's that. And only other issue I've had, the only other issue is that with Elgato, the app just works on basically the M1, versus in order to like change any settings. So in order to upgrade the settings for this actual capture card, you need a Windows machine, because of the application that allows you to update the actual software on this device doesn't work on the M1 so far. It doesn't even work under the Rosetta layer. It only works under Windows. So if you have to have a Windows machine to like boot to like actually upgrade the actual firmware on the device, it just doesn't work on Windows, because once you plug it into the Mac, it's automatically detected, and the firmware update is needed by the software. It doesn't run on OS X 12.1 or Big Sur. It runs on Catalina, kind of, and it runs on Mojave mainly, and it runs on Windows all the time. So that's how that shows up. And then the two microphones right here. I mean, the two webcams, the one that's there and the one that you can see. Well, you can't see it, but it's the one over there. So that's all the settings I did. So if you want some interface that works mainly with like Mac OS, the Scarlett Solo does a good job. The Scarlett 18920 does. That's if you need more than one microphone input. If you need multiple lines and more than one mic, then the 18920. If you need something rack compatible, I was actually thinking about getting that for actually here. Then there is the actual 18i8. I mean the 8i8, which is a 4 port XLR and 4 line. If I recall correctly, you actually can like do some other stuff like ADAT, but basically, if you just need one microphone, or just because if you're planning on using a separate preamp like I am, like the DBX2A6S, then you could use the Scarlett Solo with the basically the DBX2A6S going from a line to DBX2A6X, which is the instrument / line input on the actual interface. and XLR could actually in turn hook up another XLR port there if you wanted to have a secondary mic, technically, one going through your line and one going through basically the XLR port. So condenser. So the condenser could have could be on the XLR port, so you could basically put the line. I mean, you actually could put phantom power onto the condenser, so you can have one plug there and one port plugged onto a line going through to an actual preamp, and from there you could do it in turn. You could do another interface where basically you could have one goes from line to a phantom power supply to a one from a phantom power supply, or just if you want to use a condenser with a cloud lifter, or basically if you're not using a cloud lifter, it just goes from the one mic to the DBX286S and activate phantom power there, so it runs the condenser there, and you can basically do audio ducking on that too, and a lot of different stuff. And if you just want two separate inputs on the recording software by themselves, then you would have to get a 2i2 or a 2i4, 2i8. I mean 8i8 or 8i20, which is the highest one, with the 8i20 better being if it had the black lion mod on there, so you could have a higher quality preamp than what the Scarlet originally has, and it would also be painted black instead of being red. So yeah, but that's also $900 there from Sweetwater, or $500 if you don't get the black lion mod. You can probably find a black lion mod one on eBay cheaper. But if you want it brand new, you could get it from Sweetwater. Plug in Sweetwater, by the way. That's where I get most of my audio gear. Let's see. What else was I gonna say? There's one more thing I was gonna say. If you do any of this stuff, like in any of these applications I'm actually talking about, then you should probably the one I would definitely do is basically make mission control F3, or like a key that basically you could easily press if you have an Apple keyboard, or basically if you have an Apple keyboard, just press mission control button. But if you have a regular mechanical keyboard and you don't know which button is mission control, which I don't remember to all honesty, so I'll just make it F3. And since F3 isn't binding much on like many browsers, unless it's basically another application, you could basically bind it to F3 and then basically just press F3 to bring up mission control. But I bind it F3. I bind it mission control to F3, so I can basically put it onto this device, right here. That it's right here. I'll just show it to you. This device right here. And so yeah, and so that stuff over there is that's for drawing. And so, because how I had it was, I had that table that's behind me over here, but it was kind of uncomfortable because I had my arm like this, and so I actually prefer to sit more comfortably. And so I had this over where the table's at. So since I basically do like to draw, and I don't want to have basically how it was, the drawing tab was like right here, and it was so uncomfortable to like move my mouse and also draw at the same exact time. So I just moved it to back there so I could basically have stuff back there. so I can have it back there. So when I do turn around, I could have it right there. And I do have a camera right there. So this is that camera right here. So see, if I need to open up something small, it could be right here. If I need to open up something bigger, it can just be right here, because I can just set it right here and it'll be in the camera view. Versus that one is basically just meant for maybe some like cards or something. I'm not for sure right about now. But because I was gonna put an actual I was gonna put it onto the actual tablet thing right there, but but basically there's that much gap on the stand that's on the table, so it wouldn't actually be able to, it would basically fall actually forward, just so I could basically put the drawing tablet more at an angle this way backwards, so I can draw more, and it'll and if I need to open something, it'll be right there. So yeah, I'm also testing other actual things like the Droid application, because they have something called um Droid cam, which is something I showed for OBS, and so it allows me to take my phone camera and point it places, and once I do actually that, I could basically just use that camera as basically a cam like this. I don't know if it works on here because I haven't tried it yet, and if I do have it, and if I can get it to actually work, then this knob right here will be for Droid OS. I mean, for like Droid cam, so I can basically capture on my phone. So yeah, thanks for watching this random talk. Bye.